Car crash into San Jose post office leaves neighborhood in shock. Chaos erupts, dramatic post office collision sparks fiery controversy in San Jose. In a shocking early morning incident that has left the community stunned, a bizarre vehicle collision transformed a quiet San Jose post office into a blazing crime scene. The dramatic event unfolded around 3 a.m., when a vehicle inexplicably crashed into the postal facility located in the 6500 block of Crown Boulevard, quickly escalating into a full-scale emergency. Local law enforcement immediately descended on the scene, witnessing a nightmarish scenario. A vehicle had violently penetrated the building's structure, instantly igniting a massive fire that rapidly consumed the entire postal facility. But here's where it gets controversial: the incident isn't just another traffic accident. San Jose police swiftly apprehended a suspect. Pat Tillman's brother arrested in fiery post office crash. Arson suspected. Can you believe the drama when a relative of a true American icon gets caught up in a fiery crash that destroys a community landmark? That's exactly what happened in San Jose, where Richard Tillman, the brother of the late NFL star and U.S. Army hero Pat Tillman, was arrested after his car plowed into a post office, sparking a blaze that lit up the night. This incident has everyone talking, and it's not just about the crash. There are layers to this story that could stir up some serious debate. Let's break it down step by step. Early on a Sunday morning, around 3 a.m., emergency crews from the San Jose Fire and Police departments rushed to the Almaden Valley Station post office following reports of a vehicle on fire inside the building. By the time they arrived, the car had smashed through and ignited a fierce inferno that quickly consumed the structure. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the damage was extensive, leaving the post office in ruins. Richard Tillman, aged 44, was taken into custody and booked into the Santa Clara County Jail on suspicion of arson. Arson, for those new to this kind of news, isn't just about starting a fire. It's a serious crime that often involves intent to cause harm or destruction, and in this case, it might be tied to the reckless driving that led to the crash. Federal postal investigators are now digging deep into what caused this chaos. They're examining reports that the driver may have live-streamed the event, which adds a modern twist to the story. Imagine someone broadcasting their own destructive act in real time, possibly for shock value or attention. And this is the part most people miss. Investigators found spray-painted words on the building, but it's not clear if they're connected to the incident or just a coincidence. Sources say the link is murky, which leaves room for all sorts of theories. Plus, there's uncertainty about whether Richard Tillman was impaired at the time, maybe by alcohol, drugs, or even emotional distress, but without more details, it's hard to say. To understand the bigger picture, you have to know about Pat Tillman. He was a standout player for the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL, but after the 9/11 attacks, he made a heroic choice to put his career on hold and enlist in the Army as a Ranger. Tragically, he was killed in 2000 by friendly fire in Afghanistan, a loss that shook the nation and highlighted the sacrifices made by service members. His story often inspires discussions about patriotism and the personal costs of war, which makes this recent event involving his brother all the more poignant and potentially controversial. But here's where it gets controversial. With the family's high-profile background, some might wonder if this incident reflects deeper issues, like the pressures of living in the shadow of a legend, or if it's simply an isolated act with no broader meaning. And this is the part most people miss. The spray-painted words could hint at a motive, whether it's protest, personal vendetta, or something else entirely, but without solid evidence, it's all speculation. ABC News has tried reaching out to the Pat Tillman Foundation for their take, but so far, no response. If you have any information that could help, don't hesitate to contact postal inspectors at 877-876-2455. Every tip counts in piecing together what really happened. Now, I'm curious, do you think this crash was a random outburst, or could there be more to it, like unresolved family dynamics or societal frustrations? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear if you agree, or have a different perspective that could spark some healthy debate. Pat Tillman's brother arrested after crashing into San Jose post office. The arrest of Pat Tillman's brother after a violent crash into a San Jose post office has reignited painful memories of one of America's most controversial military stories. But here's where it gets controversial. Could this incident be connected to the family's decades-long struggle with institutional betrayal? Early Sunday morning, a vehicle smashed into the Almaden Valley Post Office building, sparking a major fire that required response from the San Jose Fire Department around 3 a.m. Authorities quickly identified the suspect as Richard Tillman, 44, brother of the late NFL star turned Army Ranger Pat Tillman. According to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, the federal agency that handles crimes involving postal facilities, this wasn't just an accident. Investigators are actively considering whether Richard intentionally drove into the building. He's now jailed in Santa Clara County on arson charges. And this is the part most people miss: the Tillman name carries heavy baggage in military history. Pat Tillman famously walked away from his Arizona Cardinals contract after September 11 to join the Army Rangers. His 2004 death in Afghanistan was initially portrayed as heroic combat against enemy forces, until the shocking truth emerged months later. The Pentagon finally admitted Tillman was killed by friendly fire from his own unit, sparking nationwide outrage over what many saw as a deliberate cover-up to protect the military's image. The family's bitterness over Pat's death still simmers today. They accused the Department of Defense of delaying the truth until after Pat's televised memorial service, turning a personal tragedy into what they called a propaganda tool. A 2007 Pentagon report labeled the death accidental, but the Tillmans rejected this finding as whitewashing systemic failures. Now, with Richard's arrest following a fiery building crash officially deemed potentially intentional, painful questions resurface. Is this a tragic echo of unhealed family trauma? What responsibility does the government bear for the collateral damage beyond the battlefield? Share your perspective below. Do you see this incident as an isolated criminal act, or the latest symptom of a family shattered by institutional betrayal?